Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Two shooting investigations. One shooting had deputies on scene for almost 7 hours, and another involved a suspect firing shots at deputies. We are taking you to both scenes for a breakdown of what happened here.
And our big weather makers this week, a nice day today temperature-wise, but a lot of gray skies, and then a huge warm-up beginning tomorrow with near records toward the end of the week. I'll show you.
And remembering Val Kilmer, the actor's family announced his death earlier this morning. We have a look into his career across several popular movies. Plus, the road to the Final Four. The Duke men's basketball team is expected to board the bus to San Antonio in the next 30 minutes. We're going to check in with fans preparing for this send-off. A lot of people are wishing them well as they go to the competition. Thank you so much for joining us here live on WRAL News and Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood. We do want to start with your weather forecast with Elizabeth Gardner out on the WRAL weather patio. A little gray outside today, but it'll be comfortable.
Definitely, you know, especially compared to what we're looking at by Friday, even by tomorrow, temperatures will be so much warmer. We take a live look here in the gardens, and it's beautiful. The tulips behind me are just phenomenal. Now, just in the last 3 or 4 days, the gardens have really started to transform. Now that we're into April, there's a lot of color back there. So a good afternoon to come out and enjoy the gardens. Temperature right now, 54 degrees. We have an east wind at 8 miles per hour. It's a chilly 45 in South Hill, but 55 in Southern Pines. So we do have a wide range in temperatures across the area. A lot of cloud cover today. Looking at 80 to 90% of the sky covered with clouds pretty much all day, and then just a small chance of a sprinkle, a 20% chance from say 5 o'clock to around 9 o'clock. Our highs this afternoon are in the low 70s, and we're going to jump into the 80s tomorrow. I'll show you when we'll hit our first potential 90-degree day of the year coming up.
8:01, Elizabeth. We're staying on top of this breaking news over an I-40, those eastbound lanes between I-885 and Highway 55. It was a crash that happened around 8:30 this morning. You can see the huge backups it's causing for at least 2 miles. It's a situation that we've been tracking now since it happened, really. We're working to figure out exactly how it happened and whether or not there were any injuries. But I can tell you, it's seeing huge delays in those eastbound lanes. We're also seeing some congestion building in those westbound lanes as well. You're coming in from Chapel Hill. Your best bet is to take Highway 54 as an alternate route to get around what's happening there. We also want to isolate the Beltline because we've seen traffic continue to build in terms of congestion. That northern loop of the Beltline when you come off those I-87 lanes going into Capitol Boulevard, New Bern Avenue. So let's take you out and show you what we're talking about. I-440 and New Bern Avenue. Those are the westbound lanes moving away from us. The good news is the traffic is moving at a steady clip, so nothing really that's going to make you late this morning. In terms of coming into the capital city and all the major routes, really nothing to write home about. You got 6 minutes coming in from Wake Forest on US 1, and of course coming in from Nightdale, you're looking at just a 4-minute delay. The situation is a little different coming into the Bull City, particularly when we talk about the coming in from Chapel Hill. Those eastbound lanes are looking at an 18-minute delay. But photographer Michael Joyner on the scene said they just towed away the crash vehicles, so that scene should be clearing rather quickly. You're getting ready to head into the car. 101.5 HD3 will keep you updated all morning long.
Deputies in Franklin County are investigating a drive-by shooting, and they were at the scene on Burt Winston Road near Youngsville for about 7 hours. Let's go and bring in WRAL's Kelsey Coffey. She is live at the Franklin County Sheriff's Office. And Kelsey, deputies had at least not one, not two, we're talking dozens of evidence markers.
Yes, Chris, and this appears to be a deadly shooting. So deputies were at that scene all night long for about 7 hours, like how you mentioned. And right now, this morning, investigators here at the Franklin County Sheriff's Office are working to piece together what happened. The WRAL breaking news tracker captured this video of the scene late last night. That drive-by shooting happened in a neighborhood on Burt Winston Road near US 1. So we spotted more than 60 evidence markers in that area. Deputies received a call about this shooting just after 9:30 last night. We know at least one person was shot, but we're working to get an update on if anyone else was hurt. We received our last update from the sheriff's office just before midnight. Deputies say they're waiting to put out a search warrant, so we'll be sure to keep you updated on the search for that shooter. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Franklin County.
And deputies in Vance County are looking for a person they say fired shots at deputies. We're talking more than 30. This started just after 11:30 last night in Henderson when deputies tried to stop a driver. The driver sped away and a chase began, and investigators say the chase ended on Foster Road. That is when the driver hit a deputy's vehicle head on. The driver then fired those more than 30 shots at deputies before running away, and despite all of this, no one was injured. Movie star Val Kilmer died at the age of 65. Kilmer starred in big movies such as Batman Forever, Tombstone, and Heat. In a statement this morning, his daughter Mercedes says the actor died from pneumonia. Kilmer's breakout role, you may recall, was in 1986's Top Gun, and his final film was in the 2023 sequel to that movie, Top Gun Maverick. Kilmer was diagnosed with throat cancer in 2014, but he later recovered. Authorities are trying to find a man they say had an improvised explosive device on his property, and this same person sped away from them at a traffic stop in Hope County. Jonathan Oxendine is accused of leading an alcohol law enforcement agent on a brief chase, and that ended near Balfour Road in Red Springs. The agents say that he ran into the woods while carrying a gun, and authorities went to his property. That is where they found that IED on a tripwire across a path. The SBI bomb squad was able to disarm it. Meanwhile, Oxendine is wanted on outstanding warrants, including possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, felony possession of cocaine, and resisting a public officer. Today, President Donald Trump plans to unveil sweeping new tariffs, and he is calling today Liberation Day. But some people are concerned this could mean higher prices for you, the consumer. Specifics about the new tariffs haven't been released yet, but the White House says they will take effect immediately. The Trump administration says the tariffs could bring in $6 trillion of revenue over a decade. Economists say tariffs benefit certain domestic manufacturers but can hurt international producers. Some countries' leaders say they are preparing to retaliate. North Carolina State Auditor Dave Bullock could soon have more influence over cuts to government spending. The Republican is already tasked with making sure government programs are using their proper resources. But today, senators will debate a bill that would allow Bullock to recommend permanent cuts to state agencies. Republican Senate leader Phil Berger is sponsoring the bill, and he says it will help the state to root out government waste and inefficiency. We have more details on that bill in the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com. Raleigh's new police chief will officially be sworn in today. A ceremony for Chief Rico Boyce will be held tonight. That is at 6 o'clock at Southeast Raleigh Magnet High School. It will be open to the public. Boyce has been with the department for 25 years. Most recently, he was deputy chief. In February, the city named him to fill the role after retiring Chief Estella Patterson. Duke's men's basketball team is headed to San Antonio today for the Final Four. And WRAL's Laura Levine, she is live on campus. There's a bus behind you there, Laura. It's going to leave soon.
Hey, Chris, good morning. The Duke Blue Devils are heading to the Final Four. Behind me, you can see them loading up the team bus, and there is a lot of excitement in Durham and around the Triangle. I want to walk this way. We do have some fans that are beginning to show up here as we cheer on the Blue Devils, and we have 3 generations of fans here with me. How you guys doing this morning?
Doing great. Awesome. Excited.
What are you looking forward to the most as we send this team off, the first Final Four since Coach K was here?
We're looking forward to seeing the team come out and get on the bus, maybe get a wave at them, possibly a little picture if possible, but we're looking forward to seeing them off.
And you were telling me you guys are on spring break, right?
We are. My son's on spring break, so we're just enjoying. Hey, there's nothing more that we would love to get up at school time to do than to come here and support them.
And I love the connection with the name, right? Cameron, awesome name. Who are you rooting for?
Isaiah Evans, Cooper Flagg,
All right.
Tyrese Proctor, and them.
Oh, you have a list, right?
Oh, yeah.
The entire team. Looking forward to them beating Houston, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, I love the sign
Raise the
here.
flag in San Antonio.
That's
Yes.
right. Raise the flag in San
That's what
Antonio.
we're doing.
Cooper Flag.
We hope to see more of this in San Antonio this weekend.
Absolutely. Good energy, good vibes here on Duke's campus here near Cameron Indoor Stadium. We're just waiting for the team to arrive here, and they're going to load up the bus and head on over to RDU to travel to Houston for the big game. Laura Levine, WRAL News. We're live in Durham.
Fans there. It's a big night at Lenovo Center as the Carolina Hurricanes will solidify their spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And the road to the Cup continues as they face the Washington Capitals on the ice tonight at home. We're talking about the top 2 squads in the Eastern Conference, and you can watch the action on WRAL with Puck Drop at 7 p.m. All right, so we've seen it, right? All that yellow stuff, right? On your cars, the roads, the sidewalks. Not great, but it turns out whenever you sneeze and you're wheezing, you aren't supposed to attribute it to this. Chris Michaels shattered my illusions today.
And my illusions were shattered about 2 weeks ago when I learned this, right? Because you see that and you just blame it, right? That this is the cause for all our sneezing. And Boyd, by the way, with a great aerial shot there. Interestingly enough, as of March 21st, this was actually the 5th lowest pollen count to start the season. That has obviously changed. A lot of that has to do with the trees. But some researchers at NC State say, yeah, the yellow film, it coats your cars, your decks, your things like that. But it's not allergenic because the grains are so large. A lot of what we're sneezing and wheezing about is some of the smaller pollens, especially like oak, then birch, maple, cedar, and hickory. Those trees tend to produce those allergens for us, especially over the course of the next month. As we go throughout the rest of April, that's going to be the peak of tree pollen season. And then as we head into May, that's grass pollen season. Over the course of the next few days, especially because it's warmer, the air is less dense, the pollen can travel more freely. Our tree pollen levels are going to be very high. Chris?
All right, thank you, Chris. Firefighting progress. Today, the statewide bird ban will be lifted. This morning, who's now being held responsible for starting one of the larger fires? Plus, TikTok's time is almost up. The social media app sale deadline is Saturday. The meeting President Trump plans to have about TikTok today.
And I'm tracking a front that's likely to help to bring us some rain later this week. I'll show you when we could see a good soaker coming up.
Good morning to our friends in Sanford this morning. Clearly there's a lot of activity out there on the roads, people driving by on a pretty comfortable morning as you're waking up watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or your streaming device. I mean, truly, it's really comfortable outside, not too bad for the most part. In fact, Elizabeth's outside getting you a look for the time being. I know you have the coat on for now, Elizabeth, but you can probably take that off later.
Yeah, it's pretty cool out here with the clouds. You know, if the sun was out, temperatures would warm up a lot faster and you wouldn't need a jacket probably, because it's going to be a nice, comfortable afternoon for us. Fayetteville, Raleigh, Apex, Chapel Hill, all cloudy. We can expect to see a lot more cloud cover today than we did yesterday. As a matter of fact, when we look at the forecast models, we're really just looking at cloudy skies all day with maybe a few peaks of sun here and there. This is a look at the big picture. There's a warm front sort of at the top of the screen there. As that warm front kind of moves closer to us, our wind will start to shift to southerly, and that's what's going to start a huge warm up for us tomorrow. Now the cold front back to the west, you can see the yellow shaded area. That's a tornado watch. What's going to happen is a pattern will set up where that front is stalled, and it's going to produce a lot of heavy rain across parts of the Midwest. What we'll see today is a lot of cloud cover. Notice a few sprinkles that pop up to our west right there at lunchtime. We'll pause it there at 5 o'clock. Notice a sprinkle or two. You could see that during the evening commute up through dinner time, and then it's kind of out of here. Most of us won't see any sprinkles, but it's definitely worth a mention just in case. You may have to, run your windshield wipers just for a minute or two. Let's get back to that front that's going to be crossing the country. It arrives here Sunday night into Monday and should be a significant rainfall maker for us. But in terms of the severe threat, it looks like the best chance of severe weather would be down to our south. Here's the pattern that is developing. We have high pressure down near Florida and then a low back to the west. And we'll have rain trapped in between those systems, and they're just not going to move very fast. So we're going to end up with some heavy rain, as much as 7 to 10 inches along that front to our west. So today, tomorrow, and Friday, the Midwest has a high to extreme risk for flooding. So gradually that moves in our direction. Of course, the huge Dreamville Festival happens this weekend. Couple things to know. It's going to be hot. 90 Saturday, 89 on Sunday. And then about the middle of the evening, we may start to see some showers and thunderstorms. This is a look at our forecast rainfall for Sunday. And by the time we get to midnight, we could see half an inch to an inch of rain. So that does mean that it could affect the the evening portion of the festival. If you're headed out there, just keep checking back as we watch the timeline for that front. Behind that front, we're much cooler by Tuesday.
But it's been happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, this mess that we've been showing you all morning long, I-40 eastbound between I-885 and Highway 55 as a result of a crash that happened around 5:30 this morning. You can see the huge backups. It's still causing the stretch almost for a mile or two, almost back to Chapel Hill, really. You take a look at our live traffic sensors, you can see the huge backup it's causing right there. And we're also seeing some delays in those westbound lanes as well. So if you're coming in from Chapel Chapel Hill, your best bet is to get off on Highway 54 as an alternate route in terms of getting around the mess. Also, if you're getting right near the Highway 55 exit, that's probably your best bet in terms of avoiding what's happening there. We are seeing a little bit of a slowdown on the Beltline as we isolate the Beltline for you, particularly the northern loop of the Beltline. This is around New Bern Avenue, Capitol Boulevard, in those areas. Let's take you outside and show you what we're talking about. This is a live look at I-440 and New Bern Avenue. Those are the westbound lanes moving away from us, but traffic is moving at a steady clip. Nothing that's going to make you late this morning. In terms of the major routes coming into the capital city, here's what we're talking about. Really and truly, no delays really when you look at it. Usually you see a double-digit delay coming in from Wake Forest, but we're not seeing that. But here, this is a 21-minute delay because of that crash there on I-40 eastbound. I'll continue to keep an eye on that and keep you posted here in the WRAL Traffic Center.
New this morning, Israel says its military operation in Gaza is expanding to capture large areas of land. Israel's defense minister says the operation will involve large-scale evacuation of Gaza's population. He says the areas of land being captured will be incorporated into Israel's security zones. The defense minister says Israel is working to, quote, crush and clear the area of terrorists and terror infrastructure, end quote. Republican state leaders want to rid North Carolina colleges and universities of DEI policies. The UNC System's Board of Governors already cut its DEI policy, and that was replaced last year with one that emphasizes neutrality. Senate Leader Phil Berger introduced a new bill that would require the board to adopt a policy, specifically one banning the promotion of DEI. You can check the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com for a closer look at that bill. In western North Carolina, the Black Cove complex fires have been burning for nearly 2 weeks, but there is progress being made to put these wildfires out. The 3,500-acre Black Cove fire is now 93% contained, and the nearly 4,000-acre Deep Woods fire is 60% contained. The Fishhook fire has been fully contained for about 2 days now, and 2 of the fires in the Black Cove complex were started by downed power lines. Investigators are still trying to find out what started the Deep Woods fire, but I can tell you this morning, the NC Forest Service has lifted the statewide burn ban as of 8 a.m. It was in effect for about 12 days because of hazardous forest fire conditions. Recent rain helped reduce the fire danger, and as of this morning, burn permits will be available in all 100 counties. I should also mention investigators say the Table Rock complex fire at the South and North Carolina border were sparked by cigarettes, and 3 teenagers were arrested in connection with the fire. They're all charged with arson, and this fire has burned more than 13,000 acres. 652 acres have burned in South Carolina and 635 in North Carolina. The fire is now 30% contained. Attorney General Pam Bondi says that she will direct federal prosecutors to seek the death penalty against Luigi Mangione. He faces state and federal charges for the shooting death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. In February, Mangione added an attorney experienced in death penalty cases to his legal team. The DOJ says the shooting death of Thompson was an act of political violence. Today, President Trump will meet with advisors on what to do about TikTok. Saturday is the deadline for the app's parent company to find a buyer. Carolyn Shively explains why not all lawmakers are still not sold on TikTok.
We're also the first in school history.
Celebrate now, TikTokers. The party's almost over for the 170 million Americans who use the video app. Saturday is the deadline for TikTok's Chinese parent company to sell or get banned in the U.S.
I was a great TikTok guy.
President Trump extended the deadline from January to give ByteDance time to find a non-Chinese buyer. It's unclear if the company is willing to sell.
It's a loss of $20–30 billion. I get it, but it's not the end of the free world for them.
In a bipartisan vote, Congress passed the ban last year over security concerns that ByteDance might be sharing users' private data with the Chinese government.
We just can't allow the Chinese Communist Party to continue to have access to Americans' data and to influence, our discourse.
With nearly half of all Americans using TikTok, including 7 million businesses and organizations around the country,
it's a teacup werewolf.
Keeping U.S. access to the app might be the one thing that brings Democrats and Republicans together.
I support the administration's efforts to keep it open, and I would work with the White House on this issue.
That was Carolyn Shively reporting. Now, if there's not a deal by Saturday, President Trump has said that he might extend the deadline again. We'll be following, today's meeting to see if any buyer progress is being made. North Carolina lawmakers want to make big changes to the state's foster care system. Lawmakers and advocates are expected to address what they're calling the Fostering Care and NC Act. That's happening at a news conference later this morning. Republican Representative Alan Chesser filed the bill this week, and it would give the state more power to check records and enforce rules at local social services offices. We have a more detailed article on this in the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com. And folks, this is all happening 2 months after WRAL's documentary, Broken: Foster Care in North Carolina. In this documentary, we exposed major problems in the system. This QR code right here that you're seeing, this will take you to that documentary. You can also go to WRAL.com to find it directly. North Carolina farmers dealing with a devastating season of lost crops can now apply for help. This is what so many are seeing in the aftermath of weather disasters like tropical storms and floods. And now farmers in all 100 counties can apply for the Agricultural Disaster Crop Loss Program. This allocated more than $300 million to these folks. To apply for the funding, you can visit the North Carolina Department of Agriculture's website. Just so you know, the deadline to apply is May 4th. Your time is 8:23. Teacher overturn. North Carolina leaders will get an update on teacher retention today. Why hiring more people won't solve core problems in our state. Plus, election results. A lot of money and a lot of attention was paid into special elections in Wisconsin and Florida. The projected winners this morning and what this means for the political control in those states.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Your time is 8:26. I'm Chris Lovingood. Let's head on out to the WRAL weather patio with Elizabeth Gardner.
And it's pretty chilly out here. Pretty comfortable in a jacket. Our temperatures are in the low to mid 50s from Wilson to Durham to Fayetteville. A lot of cloud cover here on the patio, and we're seeing that on our cameras all across the viewing area. It's 50 in Rocky Mount, 53 in Cary, 53 degrees in Holly Springs. So pretty uniformly in the low to mid 50s. We'll climb up into the low 70s, making it a nice day to exercise even in the afternoon. We'll see cloudy skies for the bulk of the day and a few sprinkles around the time of the evening commute.
Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, we just got reports of this crash right here on Highway 40, I-40 eastbound between I-885 and Highway 55 has cleared, but traffic is moving ever so slowly through that particular area. In terms of the delay times coming into the Bolt City, particularly from Chapel Hill, right now you're looking at a 17-minute delay. Elsewhere, all those other major routes into the Bolt City are free and clear. As for the capital city, the real main trouble spot, if you want to call it a trouble spot, is our friends in Wake Forest. You're looking at a 5-minute delay coming into the capital city.
The Franklin County Sheriff's Office is investigating what appears to be a deadly shooting. The drive-by shooting happened in a neighborhood on Burt Winston Road near US 1. More than 60 evidence markers were left in that area as investigators were there. We know at least one person was shot, and we are working to learn if anyone else was injured. This morning, Duke's men's basketball team is making the trip to San Antonio for the Final Four. We are showing you images from this morning, the bus there taking the team to the NCAA tournament semifinals. The Blue Devils plan to leave from Cameron Indoor Stadium in just minutes, as you're seeing a live look from the bus. That's supposed to happen in the next 2 minutes. Next on Fox 50, NC State international students leave the country after their documents were terminated.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Searching for suspects, a possible deadly drive-by shooting in Youngsville, and a chase and later shots fired at Vance County deputies. The two shootings deputies are investigating right now.
And it's a bit of a cool start, but a pleasant afternoon on the way. And our big weather maker for the next few days is a huge warm-up with the warmest temperatures we've seen so far this year.
Plus, the road to the Final Four. The Duke men's basketball team is boarding the bus to San Antonio right now. As you can see, we have a live look there from campus, and we're going to check in with fans there to send them off. Very exciting. Of course, we'll have coverage all day long on WRAL, including here on Fox 50. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Chris Lovingood. Let's go ahead and start outside with Elizabeth Gardner. Notice the coat. It's comfortable with a coat as you go outside.
That's right. It's a little bit breezy, too. The wind's starting to pick up just a bit. And if the sun was out, it would certainly feel a good bit more comfortable. I'm, of course, here in the gardens, and looking back behind me, you can start to see more color out there. Just really a big change in the last 4 or 5 days. A lot more blooms. And so, of course, we welcome you to our WRAL azalea gardens during daylight hours anytime you want to come. 54 is our current temperature. We have an east wind at around 8 miles per hour. We have a cool 46 in South Hill, but elsewhere temperatures are in the low to mid 50s, 55 in Southern Pines. It's 50 degrees in Rocky Mount right now. Taking a look at our cloud cover for it today, it's likely to be at around 80 to 100% during the day today without much change. So the clouds are here to stay, I think, for the bulk of the day. And then this evening, just a 20% chance of a shower. It would be a quick sprinkle. Our high this afternoon in the low 70s, but I'll show you why we'll see some of the warmest temperatures of the year so far coming up.
All new into the WRAL Traffic Center. The good news, the crash on Highway I-40 eastbound between I-885 and Highway 55 has completely cleared. You can see traffic is moving nicely in the eastbound lanes finally, because it's a situation where it was backed up for quite some time. But it's good to see that traffic moving again, right? But we're still seeing the lingering delays here on our traffic sensors this morning. I wouldn't recommend getting off on 54 or even Highway 55 at this point, because things have definitely cleared up, and it should be moving nicely in the right direction shortly from now. We see some icons dotting our traffic sensors this morning, but nothing really that's going to slow you down. As we isolate the Beltline, things have really cleared up quite a bit on the southern loop of the Beltline as well as the northern loop. As we take a look at the Beltline at New Bern Avenue, those westbound lanes moving away from us at a nice steady clip this morning. In terms of other routes coming into the capital city, the real troubled spot, if you want to call this a troubled spot, our Fins and Wake Forest, is going to take you about a 5-minute delay coming into the capital city. Over in Durham, the situation here is definitely improving coming in from Chapel Hill. You're looking at a 13-minute delay, but all the other major routes in the Bull City, delay-free right now. You're getting ready to head out the door. Always remember, tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Deputies in Franklin County are investigating a drive-by shooting, and they cleared that scene near Youngsville around 4:30-ish this morning. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey shares details of this investigation, where deputies left at least 60 evidence markers.
This appears to be a deadly shooting. Deputies were at that scene all night long for about 7 hours. Right now, investigators here at the Franklin County Sheriff's Office are working to piece together how all this happened. The WRAL breaking news tracker captured this video of the scene late last night. The drive-by shooting happened in a neighborhood on Burt Winston Road near US 1. We spotted more than 60 evidence markers in that area. Deputies received a call about the shooting just after 9:30 last night. We know at least one person was shot. We're working to get an update on if anyone else was hurt. When we received our last update from the sheriff's office, deputies say they're still waiting on a search warrant, so we'll be sure to keep you updated on the search for that shooter. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Franklin County.
And deputies in Vance County are looking for a person they say fired more than 30 shots at deputies. This started just after 11:30 last night in Henderson. Deputies say they tried to stop the driver. The person sped away. The chase began and then ended on Foster Road. Investigators say that the driver crashed into a deputy's vehicle head on. And then after this, the driver reportedly fired shots at deputies before running away. But despite all of this, no one was injured. Movie star Val Kilmer died at the age of 65. He starred in big movies such as Batman Forever, Tombstone, and Heat. In a statement this morning, his daughter Mercedes said that the actor died from pneumonia. Kilmer's breakout role, you may recall, is in 1986's Top Gun. His final film role was in the 2023 sequel to that movie, Top Gun Maverick. Kilmer was diagnosed with throat cancer in 2014, but he later recovered. Today, we expect an update on public education in our state. The annual State of the Teaching Profession report will be released. Last year, the report showed teacher turnover was the highest it had been in more than 20 years. We're talking 1 in 9 teachers quitting. School systems started hiring new teachers with no education background to fill the gaps, but as WRAL's education insider Emily Walkenhorst explains, even the new hires are leaving.
They do get training, they do get some support, they are required to take classes, but a lot of them don't stick around after a few years. So we still kind of end up with the teacher turnover problem. It just gets delayed a few years.
And teachers say pay is a major problem. These are professionals required to have a college education, and their concern is they don't earn as much as the average college graduate. And of course, we will be following today's meeting to find out if teacher retention has improved. We'll also watch for what the state's doing to prevent more losses. Look for those updates on WRAL News from 4 to 7:30 this evening. NC State says 2 international exchange students had their records terminated by the U.S. government. The school's Office of International Services sent out this message yesterday. It said that NC State did not initiate the visa removals and were not told about the changes directly. The school says they found out about the terminations last Tuesday. NC State also says both students decided to leave the U.S., and they did that after consulting with home country embassies and immigration attorneys. New this morning, NBC News projects liberal Judge Susan Crawford won the high-profile Wisconsin Supreme Court race. Her win will allow liberals to maintain their narrow majority on the key battleground state's highest court. Elon Musk spent millions of dollars supporting her conservative opponent, Brad Schimmel. Crawford celebrated her win as a victory over big money in politics. Meanwhile, in Florida, Republican candidates won both of the congressional seats that were up for special elections. Randy Fine won the seat Mike Waltz vacated when he joined the Trump administration as national security advisor. Jimmy Petronis won the election to replace Matt Gaetz. You may recall that he vacated his seat when President Trump nominated him for attorney general, but withdrew from that nomination. Duke's men's basketball team is headed to San Antonio today for the Final Four. We have been checking in with WRAL's Laura Levine. She is on campus. Laura, we saw the bus, but I see no bus behind you. They leave already?
Hey, Chris, good morning. We are standing by waiting for the Duke Blue Devils to walk out of the door here at Cameron Indoor Stadium, and you can just feel the excitement here on campus. The music is pumping, and we have a nice little crowd here of fans waiting as well. We've seen and spoke to so many people out here who have their signs. They have their basketballs ready to sign, their posters, and just overall so excited about this team heading to the Final Four. So the team is going to depart in the next couple of minutes here. They're going to head to RDU and then, of course, travel to San Antonio to face Houston. That game taking place at 8:49 on Saturday. Of course, the winner of that game will play in the national championship game on Monday night. Duke is one of 4 number 1 seeds in this weekend's Final Four in San Antonio, and the Blue Devils are in their 18th Final Four in program history. I have to tell you, too, there is a lot of excitement, of course, about one player in particular, Cooper Flagg. He was just recently named the Player of the Year, so a lot of people also here to cheer him on. All right, so we're waiting for the cue, the go-ahead, to let us know when the team is walking out. You can already see more and more people coming out of the door here and loading up the bus, so we'll keep you updated on when the team actually steps out here, steps outside, greets fans, and then head on that bus. Laura Levine, WRAL News. We're live in Durham.
So excited. Can't wait for it, Laura. And it is a big night at Lenovo Center. Also exciting. The Carolina Hurricanes will try to solidify their spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And the road to the Cup continues as they face the Washington Capitals on the ice tonight at home. We're talking about the top 2 squads in the Eastern Conference. And just a reminder, you can watch the action on WRAL with puck dropping at 7 p.m. Later this morning, state lawmakers plan to focus on a key regulation behind North Carolina's healthcare industry. Certificate of Need laws restrict the ability of hospitals and doctors to build new locations or buy new equipment. The idea is to keep healthcare costs low by stopping unnecessary spending. But critics argue the rules drive your medical bills higher by restricting free market competition. Some Republican lawmakers have pushed to repeal the rules for years. However, lobbying from the hospital industry has, well, it's hindered those attempts. Wake County Public Libraries will offer free health screenings. Other resources will be available at some locations over the next few months as well. These screenings start today with the first stop at Morrisville Community College. Rather, I should say Morrisville Community Library. This is a partnership with Advanced Community Health to provide the screenings at 11 libraries across the county. Now, the screenings will continue weekly through August, just so you know. Tonight, real estate developers will give more information about a proposed 30-story building at Capitol Boulevard and Peace Street in Raleigh. Raleigh Development Company will host a town hall meeting about this project. It's happening at 5:30 p.m. at Poland Community Center. Your time is 8:40. Boeing's CEO testifies. Today, the aviation leader will address a Senate committee. What we expect to be addressed during a series of Boeing plane malfunctions. And hospital visits down. New flu death and hospitalization numbers in our state will be available later today. A look at how deadly the flu season has already been so far. You know what? It's been an overcast morning as you're taking a live look over at Wilson. Whirly gigs are whirling just a little bit. After the break, meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will show us the taste of summer that we are waiting for at the end of the week. Look at you, Zebulon. You thought we were going to forget about you. We didn't. We have a camera we want to show you here, too. It's a little overcast, much like it is elsewhere as you're watching WRAL News today. Right now, temperature-wise, it's not too bad if you're outside with a jacket out. Perfect example, Elizabeth Gardner. She is doing that right now. But later today, Elizabeth, you can probably take the jacket off.
Temperatures are going to climb into the low to mid 70s this afternoon, which will be nice. You know, obviously the sun makes a huge difference. If the sun was out right now, I'd probably be okay without this jacket, but it's a little breezy and just a little bit cool with the cloud cover. Take a look at the gardens and hopefully, I mean, this, you know, kind of a far away view, but I'll tell you what, in the last 5 days, I've seen a huge change in the azalea gardens, definitely beginning to see some good color. At this point, it's probably worth a visit, and you have 2 or 3 weeks to come and check out the beautiful blooms. They'll usually last till, you know, mid, sometimes late April. 54 is our temperature in the triangle. Our dew point's 42, so our humidity is low, and that'll be the case again for tomorrow. Our temperatures are pleasantly cool. It's 47 in South Hill, but elsewhere, our temperatures are in the low to mid 50s. We zoom in closer to the triangle, and it's 51 in Garner, 53 in Apex, 50 in Wake Forest, 54 degrees in Clayton. So it's cool, definitely out here, but we'll climb to 53 in Raleigh. 73 in Raleigh, 72 in Durham, and 77 in Fayetteville. The clouds are likely to stick with us all day, so if you are headed out to the Canes to do a little tailgating, it's going to be comfortable. I mean, temperature at 6 o'clock, 71 degrees, but it'll be cloudy and there could be a little sprinkle, and we are very excited to broadcast the game on WRAL tonight, so you can watch it from home. 85 for tomorrow, and then our first 2 90-degree days of the year are likely to be Friday and Saturday. Friday, and it's likely that we'll break the record because the previous record 88, and then Saturday we could tie the record at 90 degrees, and it is very early to be seeing these very warm temperatures. For Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we do begin to see the muggy meter climbing from tolerable kind of up to steamy, but today and tomorrow it looks, you know, again, just a bit more comfortable. The next big weather maker comes Sunday night into Monday. That should be a good soaker for us, but it could start before Dreamville ends on Sunday night. So if you're planning to head there, keep checking back over the next few days.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. This week, a senior Russian negotiator is expected to visit D.C. to talk about ending the war in Ukraine. Sources say Kirill Dmitriev plans to meet with U.S. envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff. It will be the first time a senior Russian official has visited D.C. since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022.
And Jeff, over to the WRAL Live Center, a lot of fear in the job and labor market that things would slow down just a bit with all the tariff talk that is happening here. But as we take a look at some of the information just coming in now, the new jobs report for private companies, they added 155,000 jobs in the month of March. So that was better than what was forecast. It was supposed to be about 115 to 120,000 jobs. So a lot more than in February as well, which was just 84,000 jobs. So it's been countered, those thoughts that the market is slowing. The upside amid all this is that there are lots of worries still out there, real, that Donald Trump's aggressive tariffs could deter companies from trying to hire people and add to headcount and in turn slow business and consumer activity, as Trump is set to announce the next step in his trade policy today at 4 o'clock.
All right, thanks for watching that for us, Jeff. More job cuts at the federal government, this time around 10,000 employees at the Department of Health and Human Services. Employees say they don't see the reason behind these layoffs.
Just a no heart. There's just no sense to it. My computer was turned off. I didn't get to sign what I was supposed to sign. It's just total chaos.
Some of the employees said they worked on programs that serve the country's most economically fragile citizens. Programs such as SNAP, Head Start, Medicare, and Medicaid. The job eliminations are part of U.S. DHHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s plan to reshape federal public health infrastructure. Women who need more than just a mammogram to detect breast cancer may soon receive help from state lawmakers. A bill advancing in the state legislature would require insurance companies to cover additional screenings and breast exams. Patients often have to pay out of pocket for things such as MRIs and ultrasounds. This can cost hundreds of dollars. Legislatures have introduced similar bills in the past, but they didn't receive enough support to become law. Lawmakers are set to discuss the proposal this afternoon. Meanwhile, the CEO of Boeing today will testify before Congress about the company's recent missteps. Kelly Ortberg will address the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation, and he sent an email to employees previewing his testimony. In it, he admits the company still has a lot of work to do. He says Boeing is making fundamental changes to fix its work culture and strengthen safety and quality. Also happening today, the State Department of Health and Human Services will release new data on respiratory illness in North Carolina. Now, so far this flu season, 464 people have died from flu. 5 of those were children. And the number of emergency room visits and hospitalizations, it's been trending downward over the past few weeks. We're bringing you the most up-to-date information as soon as that drops. Today, Cape Fear Valley Health is updating its visitation policy by dropping its flu season restrictions. The minimum age will be lowered to 6 years old in most areas. All minors must be accompanied by an adult. The health system will no longer require masks for patients and visitors in the waiting rooms of the emergency department of express care locations, and that's unless they are experiencing respiratory symptoms. Well, this week is spring break for many families in the area. I have not had a spring break in a long time. WRAL lifestyle editor Kathy Hanran is here with some ideas to help you get out and about with your family. So, Kathy, let's start off with some of those day trip ideas.
If you're like me, your kids are on spring break, okay? So if it's an overnight vacation isn't in your budget this year, we've got a list of some great day trip ideas on WRAL.com. Some good options include spending the day at the Greensboro Science Center. They have an outdoor adventure park where you can explore high above the zoo. They've got animals including penguins, alpacas, lemurs, and tigers. Another great option, if you're not going to go to Greensboro, you've got Wilmington and Wrightsville Beach. We've got some great things you can do there that don't involve going to the actual beach since it's a little bit cold right now for the water. You can visit Battleship, North Carolina, or one of the area museums. You could even go check out the Venus flytraps, which grow in the wild there.
I used to have a Venus flytrap. It died. I'm a bad plant daddy. Sounds like a fun time, though. All right, thanks, Kathy. So if you're hitting the road, exactly what are some of the roadside attractions that people should be looking for, though?
This is so much fun. Okay, if you get in the car, we're going to list some amazing, unusual roadside attractions in North Carolina. Now, one of them is in High Point. It's the world's largest chest of drawers. Ooh. It's 36 feet tall. It was built to call attention to High Point as the furniture capital of the world. Largest
Chest of drawers. Massive. And for more on this family-friendly event, you can go to WRAL.com and search family. Thank you so much, Kathy. Our teacher of the week has taught kindergarten at the same school for about 20 years. WRAL's Ken Smith is at Harris Creek Elementary in Wake County with this week's deserving recognition.
Do you think the clouds are high up in the sky, or do you think the clouds are kind of covering those mountains?
Davida Tatum can't imagine teaching any other grade level than kindergarten. Why kindergarten?
Look at them. They're cute, they're sweet. I mean, they just soak up so much of the energy. They give me energy. It's just exciting. What do you notice about the weather? Let's look at that picture. What do you notice?
I notice cloudy.
All right, you notice it's cloudy? Thank you, sweetheart.
She's known for loving on her students and giving them the foundation to be confident and comfortable in the classroom so they can express themselves.
I really like to see them learn, them grow, get to help their parents see the potential in them. It's just a really good experience, and it just fills my heart with joy. So what you're going to do is turn and talk to your partners like we always do.
Tatum says there's nothing like that moment when her students at Harris Creek Elementary learn something new after putting in the work.
For a long time, they were struggling, and you don't want to see the kids struggle because they feel like they can't do it. But the more you motivate them, keep talking and encouraging them, the excitement is there in their face, and you get excited too. You want to keep doing what you do.
Miss Tatum, you are WRAL's Teacher of the Week. How about that?
What in the world?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ken Smith, WRAL News.
And if you would like to nominate a teacher, you can go to WRAL.com and enter Teacher of the Week in the search box. We are keeping our eyes right here at Cameron Indoor as the Duke basketball team is boarding the bus to the Final Four. You can see that looks like they're standing outside ready to get on there. So many people are excited to wish them good luck for the Blue Devils. We're going to have reports all throughout the day here on WRAL on Fox 50 and, of course, over on WRAL. We'll be back in a traffic and a weather update here in just a couple of minutes.